next subject we're going to get onto is a team that is quite close to you, in fact, Lambeth Allstars. Now, since we last spoke,
Indeed.
they folded. They're no longer in the OBD SFL league now.
Mm.
So yeah, now shout outs to Winger as well. Obviously, of course, like he's the main man behind that team, behind that brand, of course. And I was kind of like wondering what's happened to that team anyway. Like even before I heard that they folded, but I went online the other day, saw tweets flying about from Essie Dons. You know how they do, just like throwing little jabs here and
Disrespectful.
there to say,
Disrespectful.
they're out. But I'm sure there's going to be like a free fall in terms of their players as well, because they had so many talented players as well.
Ballers. Ballers. Look, in all honesty, I haven't spoken with Winch sort of about Lambeth All Stars for a long time. I've only really spoken to Winch about him and his own injury problems and the things that he's going through, and I'm always there for him for that. Is it first and foremost before anything? He's my brother, so I care about him more than I care about the football. Some things are more important than the football. Um, when it comes to Lambeth All Stars, listen, it's a touchy subject, so I've not even tried to reach out to him to talk about it because I know that he's going to be hurting. I know he's going to be upset. That club means more to him than anyone will ever know because I know what it means to him socially in terms of what he can do to help other people, and that's very much uh, a big part of who he is as a man. He's not just about the football; it's about how he can help people and guide them and steer them towards sort of bigger and better things. So for him to bring that to a close as an institution is a very big deal for him. Um, for me personally, I can't. I'd be lying if I said I didn't see it coming. I saw it coming last year. I think sometimes, and listen, maybe I'm speculating here when I say this. I don't know if it's the same problems that there were before. I can't say, but I know that there were commitment issues from other players, general professionalism. And when I say professionalism, I don't mean turning up sort of acting like a professional footballer. I just mean having some common decency for the people that
Mm.
you're sort of playing with. Sort of making it to training, making it to games, being on time, kind of being fit and ready and a bit more serious kind of when you turn up to the environment. I think, but that's part of the problem when everyone in your squad plays step one, two, or three football or step four football. Everyone's got games on a Saturday. They might be carrying a bit of a knock. Maybe they want to go out on a Saturday night. They start to lose their seriousness, especially when they see other people aren't being so serious. It becomes a bit infectious. You know what I'm saying? It kind of becomes like a plague, and it sort of spreads throughout the squad. I was having conversations with some of the guys in the group chat last season, and sort of just questioning their loyalty and their commitment to the project. We had so many really, really promising conversations about where Windsor wanted to take the club in terms of the direction and academy and these kinds of things. And we had so many really, really good ideas and so many really good intentions. And I'm sure those intentions are still there. But I just think sometimes the friendships, you can become too familiar with people. You be too close to people. You start to allow more disrespect than you should. You start to allow more sideways behavior. I call it sideways behavior.
Mm.
Um, than you should, and that's really kind of just down to the relationships that you have with people, and it becomes really, really difficult. It becomes almost impossible to sort of lead a group of friends. There has to be a distance, an amount of distance between you, and unfortunately, that's kind of just how it was. I don't know if that's still how it is, or sort of more recently. But whatever happens, I hope, and my fingers are crossed, that there will be a return of Lambeth and maybe one or two other teams as well.
No, I hope so too, because I find it interesting how they've gone from like one year winning the London Cup and being like the team that's next up to,
Mhm.
I'm seeing Winge that meme, well, not even a meme, but it's turned into, that team talk that's gone around where he's saying about would you let someone come in your mum's fridge and slap, was it? I can't remember it now, but you know the one I'm talking
Would you let these men come in your house and slap your mum and take food out the fridge? Would you?
I certainly wouldn't.
Would you? I'm asking you.
about. They've gone from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, like in the space of what,
Yeah.
3-4 years? Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, but it happens. Yeah, but it happens. I think it's complacency on some people's part. Certainly not on Winger's, because this guy is dedicated to his craft. Whether it's coaching, whether it's playing, whether it's just being a good man, this guy's dedicated to anything that he wants to do. I'll never hear anyone tell me any different about Winger. Listen, what I know of that guy, his heart is so clean. He means what he says, and he says what he fucking means. And that's the reason why me and him get on so very fucking well, because there's no bullshit. And I think the problem is other people become complacent. They think that they're still as serious as they were, but their behavior and their habits aren't quite the same as they used to be. And rather than actually reflect on what they've brought to the table, they kind of point the finger somewhere else. And I think, unfortunately, that's kind of indicative of where we are in modern society at the moment, where generally a lot of people, or should I say the majority of people, just lack accountability. They lack the skills to be accountable. And whether the players like it or not, I'm sure they would have played a part in the reason why Lambeth has folded.
Do you think that he needed more help? Because I always noticed that, you know, people that are just taking it all upon themselves with these clubs and stuff, like sometimes it's they need an infrastructure around them. Do you know what I mean? Like you've seen it
Always.
at these other clubs where it's just one man band and they're doing it all themselves and they've got their own personal life to deal with. On top of that, like they just need an infrastructure around them just to help support, right?
Yeah, of course. Look, listen, that's not a secret. You know, no empire is built solely by one person. Do you know what I'm saying? There's supposed to be a team of people that you can rely on. And I think when you talk about relying on people, that's based on trust. If you don't have people around you that you can trust, and it's not I can trust you with my secrets or I can trust you to have my back. It's more I can trust you to do the things that you say you're going to do. Are you actually going to do what you say you are? Because it says this on the tin, but are you actually capable of doing that sort of consistently? I think there's two organisations that kind of really lack that, and that's the reason why they don't exist anymore. Because without the main people, it all falls apart, because the people that are supposed to be in those supporting roles don't actually want to play their role. They want to be there for the razzmatazz and the good things and the good times. But when it's time to get your hands dirty, even when things aren't going very well on or off the pitch, suddenly these people start to fall away, become flaky. Oh, I've just got something to do. Oh, sorry, I was late. This is how it starts. This is just the beginning of the end. That's the beginning of the end, when these kind of things start to creep in, when these kind of things start to take place. I feel really bad, because I genuinely feel like as if I had stayed around, potentially I could have helped steer the ship in a different direction. But in doing so, and again, the reason why I had to step away in doing so, I definitely would have upset a lot of people. Now, I don't care about upsetting people, but I do care about upsetting people and then it affecting their relationships with others. And what I mean by that is I wouldn't want people to sort of put Winge in an awkward situation where they're saying, well, it's him or us, or him or me. And understand something, in this modern era where so many men masquerade as being masculine are very, very feminine. And that's how they behave. They do that kind of underhand bullshit.
Yeah.
Those kind of propositions, it's weird. I find it weird. So, you know, I think in that respect, it's easier for me to step away. Same as it was with takers, easier for me to step away from certain situations. But it's just unfortunate, because both clubs, when I stepped away, this is what has happened.
Yeah, if you're watching Winge, shout out to you, bro. It'd be good to get you on here and
Big
get
shout
your
out.
insights as well.